All right. We are, well, not we. I'm back. And Kitty Cat Peterson is here. She never left, but she doesn't know how to live stream. Do you, Kitty Cat Peterson? No, you do not. She just knows how to sit on my lap and to get cat hair everywhere and to be adorable. So, what happens if I click on this? Nothing. All right. Jim Stone is here. Glad to see Jim Stone is here. Sarah's here. I have two backs. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Did I hear about Signalgate? Yeah. Yeah, I heard about Signalgate. It's just so incredible how unbelievably incompetent they are. But it's never going to matter to anybody. I don't know, maybe it actually will matter. Why did you leave? Why did you do that? There was nothing wrong with the situation we had there, Kitty Cat Peterson. She just up and left. There, I'll put the camera on her. Shame. Shame. Shame on you, Kitty Cat Peterson. But her emails, right? Yeah. What is Signalgate? Oh, for crying out loud. The National Security Advisor, along with a whole bunch of people like the Vice President. Pete Hegseth is head of the Pentagon, but I don't know what his official title is or whatever. And several other people were texting using an app that I've never heard of called Signal, which I guess is like WhatsApp, but probably less secure. And they were, Tulsi Gabbard was in there too. And they were going over classified information, and they accidentally added a journalist to the whole thing. So through insecure means, they were passing along highly classified information, including like battle plans when they're going to strike the Houthis, stuff like that, which will never ever work. And the journalist, I don't know what that idiot was thinking. He should have absolutely never revealed that he was in there, and he should have never left. And my camera is crooked. Yeah, it looks good enough to me. It's so stupid. Oh, well. Anyways, I am back from vacation. I don't have... Justin is supposed to go live today, so I'm going to try to join Justin. Unfortunately, I can't join him for all that long, but that should be enough. But I don't have any material saved up, which is kind of a shame. I do have a video that'll come out in a few hours for you guys, but I wasn't really able to do any TikTok debating while I was on vacation. So I'll just have to make up for it during the week here, and hopefully we'll have some stuff to keep the regular uploads going. Am I debating on this stream? I mean, I gladly would. I don't care. I guess we'll see. Will you please borrow my worldview so I can say I'm right? Was that yeah, that was 2 days ago's video. I finally missed a day this year where I didn't upload. Actually, that's happened twice technically now. I'm really ashamed of it, but I'll make up for it. We're going to have 365 uploads this year at a minimum. So anyways, I went back to South Dakota for a wedding. The wedding was great, but I was back home and missed upload falling off for real too. Yeah, it's a shame. But I went home and I live in California and it's South Dakota. The weather was actually generally horrible when I was there, but there were a couple nice days, but it's way nicer than it usually is this time of year. But I was walking around and I was seeing that gas was $2.80. I was like, damn. And I was seeing just how cheap all the food is and drinks were. And I was like, damn. And just all this other stuff. And I was seeing my friends. I was like, man, this place was all right. Why did I want to leave so bad? And then So I have just basically one crazy story from being back home. So where I live, all the bars close at like 10:30 p.m. except for a couple. But generally you can't stay out that late. But back home they all stay open until 2 a.m. Um South Dakota would be an interesting place according to the Coen brothers. If you're thinking of Fargo, that's North Dakota. But none of the bars they stay open until 2 a.m. back home. So typically people don't even go out until after 10 p.m. in back in Watertown where I used to live. So but man, I got to tell you, nothing good. I don't know who is famous for saying this, that nothing good ever happens after midnight. So this was on Friday night. Yeah, Friday night we stayed out until 2, and this place wasn't there when I lived there, but there's this like snack shack across the street from the main bar in town, and you can get at 2 in the morning. You can get tacos, you can get burritos, you can get a burger, you can get biscuits and gravy. Apparently, having a snack shack at 2 in the morning is like the smartest business decision of all time, especially in South Dakota, I guess. But we go in there and we're just standing around minding our own business. And all of a sudden, like these 4 guys come in there and there's some kind of altercation happening. And this one guy just starts screaming at this other dude. And he's like, "Did you get his permission to touch his dick? Did you ask him if you could do that?" I was like, what the fuck is going on? And the other guy, I don't know, he must have said no. He wasn't being loud like the other guy, but he must have said no. He didn't ask permission. And then the other dude just starts going, "Then why'd you touch his dick? Why'd you touch his dick if you didn't ask him permission?" And this went on for like a good minute or two, which is an eternity for a cringe situation like this. And I was like, it's 2:15 in the morning. Of course this is happening here. I was like, why did you bring this indoors? Why are you guys not out on the sidewalk having this argument or this altercation or whatever this is? I don't remember very much because I was like 8 or 9 drinks deep in the night, but I definitely remember that. But it's kind of one of those things where they were behind me and I was just sitting there like this, like staring at the ground, listening as best as I could, but not looking or anything like that. And eventually they left. And I started I started saying, "Grab his dick and twist it." I don't know if you guys know what that wrestling video is, but I started saying that afterwards. Oh man, it was a good time. But then yeah, and then Saturday night was just such a dud. Well, that's not true. I went home for a wedding and the wedding was actually really great, but then after the wedding we went out and we're like, "Yeah, let's see what else is going on." And then the afterwards part, that was a total dud. And a few people flaked and it was like, yeah, this is why back home really wasn't all it's cracked up to be, because this is the only thing there is to do. Go out to the bars until 2 a.m., get biscuits and gravy, and then while you're waiting in line, some dude comes in and screams, "Why'd you grab his dick?" So good old dick twist. Yeah. Is Coyote Peterson your dad? No, you guys are going to see my dad later today. Not on the live stream. He's in South Dakota, but I did some filming when I was home to show you guys my villain arc story. What I can do though, I can do this right now. I love that video. Yeah. Grab his dick and twist it. I can show you some artwork, although it didn't upload properly for some reason. I don't know why. I'll probably upload a video of all this eventually here, but so years ago my dad decided he was going to start painting, and he has absolutely no training whatsoever. But he's painted, I think there are like 96 paintings here. He's done more than this. It's just that I don't have all of them. Let me see if I can find you. This is like one of the very, very first. Wow, why does it look so small? This is one of the very first ones he did. And I think this might be a replica of somebody else's work. He was just kind of trying to practice and figure out how it works. This is another one that's, I'm pretty sure this is a really old one. And if you know who Terry Redlin is, my dad does a lot of artwork that's kind of like Terry Redlin. But now that he's retired, he does even more. His eyesight's going, so he's not as, and he doesn't spend as much time on it as he used to. He started doing a lot of bird pictures for whatever reason. But yeah, his sort of art style has changed a lot over the years. I really like this one. This is a fairly recent one that he did. That should say 25, not 05. Grandpa doesn't know what year it is. So yeah, this is one of his older ones. So he started doing this in like 2000, 2001. Got a Tom Turkey there. So I'm gonna upload a video that just like does a montage of all of them just for the heck of it. And that has nothing to do with what I do on my channel, but it's my channel and I can do whatever I want to do. So there we go. It'll get 9 views, but there we go. No, he does. They're all acrylics. Or does he do oil painting? Well, that's the same thing, but no, yeah, everything he does is acrylic. There are loads of other things to do. I can't name any right now, but loads of things. Just trust me. I mean, if you like hunting and fishing, hunting and fishing, then yeah, it can be paradise. But if you don't really care about those kinds of things, now that they have internet out there, anybody can do whatever they want. Acrylic is water-based, but acrylic is a type of plastic, which comes from oil. So he does oil paintings then. Yeah. I know absolutely nothing, apparently. How's it going? I don't know. It's going good enough. Doing a little bit of chit-chatting and hanging out. Why? I don't know. But you got to network with your fans, right? I don't have anything to react to. If anybody knows anything funny that we could take a look at, let me know. But like I said, hopefully Justin goes live today because I plan on joining him. If he does. Dooley. Oh man. Just read the Bible on stream. It's my favorite comedy book. Yeah, you know that story in Jeremiah or whatever it is, the cows with stripes. It's meant to be humor. I don't know. It could be because you know, like a joke. If all we had, like, imagine Dave Chappelle has some really great bits where he's telling a story, and like that the story, it never happened, and it's a joke. Like the baby on the corner selling crack, that whole bit from Dave Chappelle. And it's like, well, what if in the future all we have are written like transcripts of that, and the context of that that story was told at a comedy show is completely removed. People would read that and they'd be like, yeah, everything Dave Chappelle ever said was a lie. And then they would say, no, we have no reason to trust anything he ever said. That's it's a wild take. I've never heard it before. It's not outside the realm of possibility, but yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. Wild take. Ever think of touring Canada? Oh man, I gotta tell you, there's nothing in Canada that I want to do. Labrador seems like a kind of a beautiful place to go see. I would do one of those cruises that goes up and down the Pacific coast, from Seattle to Juneau, Alaska, and then back down, which would mean I'd be seeing parts of Canada. I mean, I would do that, I guess, but otherwise, there's nothing in Canada that I've ever thought of being like, man, I should go do that. I don't know. What I always find hilarious is the fact that everyone that joins to debate you always comes in thinking they will be the one to make a difference under that. Yeah. I mean, I have no idea. Most people I talk to aren't repeat guests. So I'm thinking maybe I would bet most of them don't actually know me. And so a pretty good chunk of them probably aren't thinking like, I'm going to be the one. But there are some that do. P. Mars, Darth Dawkins, whoever else. It definitely does. There probably are some. I'll be the one that was able to crack this nut. Future historians will have problems discerning what is comedy and what is politics. Yeah, because the current politics is no different than Saturday Night Live at the moment. Is Darth still continuing his shit? He's live right now. I think I saw him live on TikTok not that long ago, like earlier today. So I think Christopher Hitchens would have done against Andrew Wilson if he were alive today. I have no idea. I mean, Andrew's thing is just to try to make somebody as dumbfounded as possible with saying like, well, what if I want to decapitate grandma's head and skull fuck her? And then you're just like, okay. And then Andrew asks you, what exactly am I violating there by doing that? And it's like, well, maybe I'll have to get back to you on that one. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think Christopher Hitchens would find something like that worth his time. But Hitchens was he was great at rhetoric. You know, he's no longer with us. I mean, Sam Harris could deal with him pretty well, just because Sam's ability to just speak so, I don't know. Sam can just articulate things almost perfectly, which is kind of funny because he spends half the time going, he really does that a lot. But you know, he doesn't say, and then he doesn't say like, and he doesn't stop talking ever. He's able to speak incredibly fluidly and fluently, despite a lot of the, but no, I mean, he can just outclass anybody. So a double reverse of the burden of proof. I don't know how that would work, but I'd have to hear the specific example, I guess. Oh, wait. Basically, he wanted me to explain ID to him and then make the argument. What? No, that happened to me. Don't you guys remember that? That was the piss and shit fallacy video. Here, I'll go find it. We'll watch it. It's the video that I had to change the thumbnail for. Oh, I didn't have to do it, but I chose to do it. Let's see here. Yeah, no, what you're talking about. What was your name? Apprender? Yeah, no, Apprender. What you're talking about, that's exactly what happens in this video.
When you have people who are intelligent, that have an ability to think, reason, have insight, have an ability to take knowledge and process it in order to reach reasonable conclusions, and they can create themselves. They can create.
So I'm interrupting you because what I told you not to do is to give examples of things that are known to be designed, which is what you literally... This is one of the absolute greatest videos of all time. I had to interrupt the guy about 1,000 times because he kept begging the question and not answering my question. He just started to do. So can you give me evidence of intelligent design in life?
Different expressions of intelligence. How do you explain?
So we actually already went over this. I'm going to interrupt you again because I told you don't try to find a question that I can't answer because that doesn't prove that you are right. What I said was give me evidence of intelligent design in life.
So anyway, obviously, you know that you're not intelligible enough to process.
Intelligible enough. So yeah, I skipped over the first 5 minutes, but it's just him not answering the question and begging the question when he tries to.
You know.
So what I said was, give me evidence of intelligent design in life.
Can you give me examples of intelligent?
I'm not the one that believes that. So I don't know what that was right there. That was like, you know, when you back an animal into a corner and it pisses and shits all over itself, like as a defense mechanism. That's kind of what you did there. That was the shit piss fallacy. The tinkle, tinkle, tinkle fallacy. So instead of giving me a piss shit fallacy, can you give me evidence of design in life? That might have been the longest crickets ever in the history of the channel. That went on for 14 seconds. See, we got there. You don't have any evidence of it. This is just a declaration that you make. You have zero evidence. What you have is you try to find out questions that people that believe in evolution can't answer as if that means you're right. Man. That's not what that means. I could sit up here and say, hey, dude, if God created us all, why has my dad never said, I love you? And then you don't know the answer to that. And then that means that your idea is false. No, that's not how it works.
There's plenty of scientific reasons why your dad never said, I love you.
Scientific reasons. Okay. So do you have any scientific evidence that life is designed?
It's everywhere. Open your eyeballs.
So instead of begging the question and then just saying, my evidence that life is designed is that life is designed, could you give me any evidence? To look at the trees.
The evidence is in the intelligence of man.
So instead of begging the question and then saying the evidence of intelligent design is that we see intelligence, could you give me any evidence?
And unreasonable.
I didn't hear anything you said because I was talking. So instead of begging the question, can you give me any evidence?
So you're just gonna discount what I just said?
No, because you are going in circles and begging the question. What evidence of intelligent design is there? Answer number one, Daniel, stop. Daniel, quit it. I asked you for evidence, and the first thing you said was, look around you. Oh, my lights aren't on in this video. Weird. So the evidence, you're just begging the question by doing that. And then you begged the question a second time by me saying, when I asked you, what evidence of intelligence is there? You said, humans are intelligent.
It doesn't happen like that, buddy. It doesn't happen like that. You don't just drive.
You know that I didn't hear a single word you said, right? Because I was talking. Okay, well, maybe now you understand it. Give me the evidence.
You give me the evidence.
I don't believe in intelligent design. You're pissing and shitting all over yourself again. Stop it, Daniel. Stop it. Get help. Give me the evidence.
Is that what the ANU is doing? Breathe, brother.
Oh, man.
Because I know what my name means.
You give me
God
the
is my judge. It doesn't mean you're my judge.
Well, you're in my house, bitch. So answer the question. What evidence do you have?
I'm not in your house. I'm completely separate from your house.
So, man, could I get somebody with a double-digit IQ that believes in intelligent design to come up here? Because this idiot doesn't even understand a figure of speech. Are there any double-digit IQ people that believe in intelligent design watching this live stream right now? Double digits. That's all I'm asking for. Daniel, do you have any evidence yet?
I gave you evidence.
No, you didn't. You begged the question. You told me to look at the trees. Well, guess what? I'm friends with the Lorax, and he speaks for the trees. And the Lorax said, you're a fucking idiot.
If I can connect a thing to a leaf and listen to the sounds of a leaf because of my intelligence and ability to take sound waves out of something that doesn't even make sound, then it shows intelligent life, that life is intelligent.
Trees make tree leaves rustle in the wind Me, Daniel, me, RM smart, me here, leave Russell, me think intelligent design. What are you doing? What are you doing? Daniel, what are you doing?
You're not even arguing about anything. You're not even giving any examples of intelligent life or lack
Daniel,
thereof.
I don't believe in intelligent design. Why would I give you the evidence of the thing that I don't think is true? I'm asking you for evidence.
So if you can't even articulate it, then and you can't.
I don't believe in intelligent design. Stop asking me for evidence of it. I don't believe. He's not asking me to steel man it or anything like that. I don't know what he's doing, but in it. I'm not going to do your homework for you, okay? Give me evidence. Don't tell me to look at trees and listen to the rustling of leaves. Give me evidence. You're muted. You got to tap your thing to unmute yourself because I didn't want us to talk over each other.
Okay, so if you are allowing someone to speak on something that you do not believe, and they're saying valid points that other people do believe in, and they're intelligent reasons according to other people, just like you can say stuff according to science, and a lot of science is incorrect and tells lies and makes things up, but I'm agreeing with what you're saying based off of a certain level of understanding that I have, then I'm showing signs of intelligence. What you're doing is showing signs of...
You said, I listen to the rustling of leaves in trees, and that's your evidence of intelligent design.
That's not what I said. You didn't even...
Yes, it is. That is precisely what you said. You said, tree leaves rustle in the wind, and I can hear it, and I'm intelligent. That's the evidence of intelligent design. You're going to have to do better than that, Daniel.
About leaves rustling in the wind.
Oh my, that's exactly... Now you're committing a verbatim fallacy. You didn't say the words rustling in the wind, but you said leaves make sound.
Was able to...
Daniel, take the microphone out of your mouth, because that's all we can hear. Now, pull your head out of your ass, take the microphone out of your mouth, give me evidence. This guy's funny.
That is intelligent enough, like a child is not intelligent enough.
Give me evidence. Don't give me an argument. Give me evidence. You're muted, Daniel. Give me evidence, and I will mute you as soon as you aren't giving me evidence.
Because you're full of shit.
Daniel, give me evidence. Can we get some bottles in the chat for Daniel, please? Can we get some bottles in the chat for Daniel, please? There we go. There's some bottles. Yeah, he must. I think he just quietly left, so that's why it ends there. But there you go. There was. So, anyways, Apprender, it's happened to me too. PMARS, I feel like did a piss shit fallacy too. It's happened a couple of times. I'm struggling to remember exactly who else did it. An argument can contain evidences, but theists, their arguments are literally just definitions. There's no evidence in any of them. Well, maybe I shouldn't say none of them have evidence, but some of them take like very weak deductions and then say, therefore God, you know. Truth is just a definition in atheism. No, I would say truth is a description of a proposition, but that is a definition. See, humans can't express ideas in non-linguistic terms, PMARS. So in a way, it is, but in a way, it isn't. Their arguments are claims for other arguments, essentially. You shouldn't talk about epistemology. You're clueless. Well, you have to borrow from my worldview to make that claim because I claim the truth is revealed to me. So I know what the truth is, and I know that God doesn't exist. So any attempt that you would make to say otherwise is self-defeating and collapses your worldview, and then you immediately adopt mine. Oh, I'm so glad I learned to presuppose the truth. Wait, what? Why do theists try not to argue God exists, but they argue so boldly that the U.S. should live by Christian nationalism? Why do theists try not to argue God exists, but they argue so boldly? I don't know. I think they argue for God's existence quite often. Oops. Hi, it's me. Hi, Jill. Sorry. Is PMARS rage baiting? I don't know if PMARS genuinely believes in anything. I really actually have no idea, because the last time I saw him on a panel, he literally just spent the whole time saying, "Yeah, but atheism's gay." So, and for some reason, people were actually falling for the rage bait. It was really weird. Hey, Jail. Out of curiosity, how'd you end up hooking up with Deconstruction Zone? Well, first of all, the allegations are false. He and I have never hooked up. But second of all, man, I actually have no idea. I'm pretty sure he was recommended to me by it was either that he was recommended to me by somebody, or I just randomly started seeing his live streams on TikTok. He wasn't like a guest on my live stream that we started like working with or whatever. I think we just knew of each other's work just randomly by watching TikToks. But I don't specifically remember. I remember exactly where I was. I was on my back patio in my old house when somebody said, "Oh, Peterson, you should start talking to Dr. Blitz." And I remember the first time Dr. Blitz and I had a conversation. We were kind of 2v1ing this one dude. How can an argument prove anything without evidence? Well, you guys don't have evidence is the problem. Well, some things are just tautologies, like the only way they prove anything is by definition. So sometimes that is all an argument does. It doesn't necessarily use any evidence, so to speak. But let me see here. We got Josh, what's up?
How you doing, bro? What are you debating the existence of God today? Can you hear me?
I'm not doing anything in particular. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, I'm an atheist, but I have a question about there's a lot of people that talk about deism being dead on arrival because any God that doesn't interact with reality couldn't be detected.
Yeah, it's indistinguishable from a universe where God doesn't exist.
So I've always had this question though. What if the God made a deterministic universe that was inevitably going to show us evidence of its existence, even though it stopped existing at the moment it created the universe?
Oh, the deity stopped existing? That would be weird. What if then we'd just have to sit around waiting for it to happen, I suppose. If whatever this thing is so all I can think of to say is so high above us, and now I'm just thinking of that song by Tal Bachman, "She's So High Above Me," that I can't sing. It's out of my register. But then it would have those abilities. And so this kind of always reminds me of the question, what would convince you that God exists? it's appropriate to say, I'm not sure, but I know God knows, and this God has not done that. So
That's true. Yeah. I don't think it has been proven yet. My issue is that there's some particular streamers that I'm thinking of, but I've heard it become like a regular thing lately to like they'll laugh at deists just out of the gate, and it's like, what if one day a deist comes in with evidence, dude, or they have evidence, and because I could conceive of at least a deity existing and creating a deterministic universe that ends up giving us evidence, even though it's not like making the choice to interact in that moment, you know? So to dismiss it right off, I think is a little bit dangerous.
to dismiss deism?
Yeah, like as a default.
I mean, I don't believe in any kind of God. I don't really care. To me, the whole thing kind of, a lot of it comes down to, and what I like to ask this question to theists a lot, is I'll say to them something like, if I adopted your worldview, what could I do that I can't currently do other than validate my argument or the belief I have in the first place? Not a single person's ever come up with an answer for that, because it is actually useless. If there were two identical worlds where, in this world people did science and philosophy, and in the other world exact clones that did science and philosophy, but they also, believed God existed, what could they do different or better? And there's never been an answer to that. And I don't see how there possibly could be. Tithing? Yeah, they could make pretty good tithings. Joshua, are you still there? Oh, Joshua's hella frozen. You guys can't see it on your end, but, well, yeah, the connection was cutting in and out a little bit there, but I guess Joshua is no longer with us, everybody. Spanky recently revealed himself to me, and I'm so much happier since. Yeah, that is good. Did Spanky reveal himself to you through Zip Zop or through Clip Clop? Those are the ways that Spanky does it. Holy crap. Anyways. Zip Clop, well, that's heresy. What you can do differently or better is be right. There. Now you can say someone answered you. Yeah, that's how it works. Revealed the truth through the bosom tingle. Oh, man. That's absolutely wild. Watch your videos at work all the time. It physically hurts me when they say gravity is fake. Yeah, it's pretty painful. Imagine being an adult who believes in magic. I mean, a lot do, but, well, I think most of them don't. They just don't ever think about the fact that that's what they believe in. Because I never believed in anything. How do I want to say this? I mean, I believed in like the resurrection for no good reason whatsoever. But I've talked about this a lot. But all the dumb shit like Jonah and the whale, Noah's flood, like all the stories like that. I remember hearing them even when I was a kid, and I thought, no, that never happened. I just never really applied that to everything. Your definition of magic is wrong then? Oh, yeah, that gaslighter. I did 2 videos of him back to back. The God isn't supernatural, he's all natural. What? I don't even remember what he was trying to say. And honestly, it probably doesn't go any deeper than that, but yeah. Man, did you guys watch Justin's debate on did Jesus fulfill any prophecies on Modern Day Debate with that Presup dipshit? If you haven't watched that, you have to. It is so incredibly bad. Where is it? Oops. Three days ago, 20,000 views. That's pretty good. Oh, here. I'll share it. That debate was a joke. It really was. The guy, he didn't try to back up a single thing about the Bible at all. He just did presuppositionalist nonsense the entire time. Like here, we'll listen to part of his opening statement so you can see what I mean. Yeah, the comments were absolutely 100% against the theist in this one. There's Justin right there. Yeah, I don't understand why James let him do this. James is usually actually not that bad, but
if prophecy is divinely inspired,
okay, so here
did Jesus fulfill the messianic prophecies? Now, whenever you speak of prophecy, you are making metaphysical claims. If prophecy is divinely inspired, it presupposes a supernatural being with omniscience, which is itself a metaphysical assertion about the nature of God, his knowledge, and his interaction with creation. To affirm or deny this possibility is likewise a metaphysical claim. Metaphysics is a branch of philosophy. It deals with the nature of reality. How we come to know what is real, i.e. metaphysically true, is called epistemology, another philosophical category. Metaphysics defines what exists. Epistemology defines how we know it. A debate about prophecy is inherently a debate about philosophy. Epistemology is called epistemology, another philosophical category. Metaphysics defines what exists. Epistemology defines how we know it. A debate about prophecy is inherently a debate about philosophy.
Metaphysics defines what we know. Epistemology is the study of how we know it. Isn't one of the definitions of metaphysics an abstract concept with no basis in reality? Like that is hold on. Metaphysics. Yeah. Metaphysics. Abstract theory with no basis in reality. There is this very odd. This is one of those weird language paradoxes where if you claim there's no such thing as metaphysics, isn't that technically a metaphysical claim? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't, but I don't know. Anyways, back to the video.
The positive case that I am presenting tonight is that if you deny that Jesus is the Messiah, you deny the Christian worldview. If you deny the Christian worldview, you deny the very possibility of knowing anything.
So there you go. I can't be wrong because it's not really, by that, they could be wrong. It's just that they're going to claim that you couldn't know that you couldn't prove that they're wrong.
If we can't know anything, how can we know if Jesus is the Messiah? The preconditions of intelligibility, such as the laws of logic and the reliability of human cognition, must be in place for knowledge, reasoning, and communication to be possible. These foundational principles cannot be arbitrary or merely human conventions, as they are necessary for coherent thought. These things are only justified by the Christian worldview, through the lens of Scripture and the normative authority of the Church. The existence of the triune God, whose rational nature, sovereign governance, and image-bearing creation of humans provides the basis for truth, logic, and knowledge itself. If the Christian worldview is true, we can know things. If the Christian worldview is true, we can know that Jesus is the Messiah. On the other hand, If Justin's agnostic worldview is true, no one can know anything. Why? Just look at the laws of logic. Whatever Justin understands the laws of logic to be, how does he justify them? How does Justin's worldview account for the existence of these laws? If Justin can't ground the law of non-contradiction, then Justin can't tell me why I ought not contradict myself.
Well, Wi-Fi gospel needs some better Wi-Fi. All right, let's skip to the cross-exam part.
Testament that are quoted in the New Testament. We're going to start with the virgin birth quoted in Matthew chapter 1, verse 22 and 23, Matthew chapter 2, verse 20.
That pushes your question to the top of the list.
But I would say all claims that are made by human beings are tentative claims.
So you don't know anything then?
No, I do. Yeah. So you don't
All right,
have
so what
to
do you
have
know?
100%. You don't have to have 100% certainty to know things. Is
Are
that
you
your claim?
100% certain about that?
Again, my claim actually contradicts that. My claim is that you don't have to be 100% certain to know things. So you can know things and even have a little bit of doubt.
That's not really an answer.
So,
But if you don't need 100%, what's the magic level of justification that you would need to know something?
I think it depends on the proposition. Like things that are more
So it's
likely to be-
arbitrary?
No, it's not arbitrary. So things that are more likely to be true, I think you need left as evidence for. So
Yeah, what
like
does more likely mean?
the things that have a higher probability.
Yeah, what percentage of probability would count as higher? 51%?
Well,
75%?
75 is more than 51.
it depends on the proposition. So,
So
the
it's
proposition
arbitrary.
is that no, it's not arbitrary. It's
So
it's
why would it
based on-
depend on the proposition to change the
Hold
truth
on.
value of the claim?
Just to be sure that Justin does get a chance to respond to that last question. Go ahead. Or comment mainly when you had said it is arbitrary. Justin, I think
relevant factors. So, for example, if I said that there's a plane outside of my house, I don't need a lot of evidence to demonstrate or to believe that there's a plane outside of my house. But if someone says that there are pigs flying outside of my house, then I would demand a much higher level of evidence for such a claim.
Yeah, I just want to make sure my time's not being wasted with these long answers. But you said believe there. If you don't need a lot of evidence to know that the plane is outside your house, is that what you were saying?
What I'm saying is I don't need a lot of evidence to believe in things that are likely to be true.
That's not what I asked. I asked what you knew to be true.
Well, again, I would default to the idea that I don't think anyone can know anything beyond a shadow of
Do you
a
know
doubt.
that
There's
beyond a
always
shadow of a
a
doubt?
fraction. There's always a fraction that you could be wrong about something.
So again, do you know that beyond a shadow of a doubt?
Again, the answer is no. I've already answered that twice.
Okay, so then you don't know.
Because no, you can know something without 100% certainty.
Okay. If you
So
bought a
again,
Powerball
you don't
ticket,
have to know something
me
100% to know it.
yeah, that's ridiculous. I'm going to show you. If you bought a Powerball ticket, what are your chances of winning?
Oh, I don't know. I think it depends on
Extremely small, right? Yeah.
It's
Okay.
an
Do you
incredibly
know
small
that you're going to lose them?
No, there's always
so
a
that if there's
possibility you win.
even the slightest possibility that you could be wrong, you don't know it. Thank you for that. Let's move on.
Wait, what? If there's that had what? He never said what was he trying to do there? I've seen this trick before where they try to tell you that you don't know anything, but Justin never said that he knows he won't win the lottery. What was the attempt there?
You said that you could.
I
That's
didn't say
literally
that
what
at
you
all.
just said. Why can't you know that you have a losing ticket?
Because you don't know all the
Because
variables.
there's the slightest possibility that you could have a winning ticket, right?
There's a slight possibility you can have either
Okay.
one.
Well, no, there's actually
means
a
you
great
can't-
possibility.
Which means you can't actually know.
Wow.
You can't actually know.
Do you see the contradiction that you're in right now?
No, I should not. See, you can't know things beyond a shadow of a doubt because you can't know all things.
All right, so you can't know anything then, is my claim, because you just said that in the case.
Oh, I
all right,
disagree.
well, in the case of power,
Yeah. Yeah, so Bridget, I think that seems to be what's happening. We say no, I know something, meaning I have a justified true belief about something, but you could be wrong about it. And then they turn that around and say, then you don't know anything. Whereas what we really mean when we make claims about what we know is that we're claiming that that's just a confidence interval, basically.
Powerball ticket where you have an extremely small chance of winning, that you could be wrong about a losing ticket, then you don't actually know it. But everything else, you say, oh, well, even if there's an extremely small chance that I could be wrong, I could still know something.
But who would ever claim that they know they have a losing ticket?
Exactly.
I would never
That's
make that claim.
exactly my point. If there's even the
Because
slightest
you can't know
possibility, you're proving my point, but you don't seem to get it. So let's move on.
Not even close.
Okay. Now, you said that you can collect evidence to know things to be true. Is that correct?
I think you can collect evidence to build a case that things are true.
Okay. Now, when you collect evidence and you build this case, are you using your senses and reasoning to do so?
Yeah, that's all you have.
How do you know that your senses are reliable?
Well, sometimes they're not. We've demonstrated this quite a bit through psychology studies. Sometimes your senses are not reliable. But when you compare my sense data to other people's sense data, and it seems
And the presuppositionalist, the presuppositionalist cannot give a unique answer to this. They can just presuppose it.
to agree,
They presuppose everything you do, and then they say plus magic.
you're building a case that your sense data is providing accurate information.
When you compare that sense data and you look at the comparison, what are you using to look at that comparison?
Other people's data.
You use other people's data to look at data? That doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
So like if I went
No,
outside and
let
said
me
there's
reiterate my
5 fire
question.
hydrants,
I don't think you understood, or maybe you missed it. I asked you how you know your senses are reliable. You said you compare it
How is
to other
James not
people. But
interrupted
then I asked
yet?
you, when you compare the data for your senses and somebody else's senses, what are you using to look at that comparison?
both of us are using our brains, which is all we have to use.
Your senses, right?
Well, your brain is not a sense.
Well, all right, but you don't look at things with your brain. You look at things
I mean, I would actually argue that it kind of like the brain isn't, but
with your eyes, right?
Yeah, your eyes provide the sense data.
Okay. So I asked you how you know that your senses are reliable, and you said
I never said they
them.
were.
Okay, so if you don't know that your senses
Okay,
are reliable,
okay, good,
you
I'll be
can't
there.
justify that to any degree. How can you know things to be true based on your senses?
I can. So let me reiterate. When you compare like my sense data, if I go outside and say I see 5 fire hydrants outside, and then 100 other people go outside and say, yeah, I see the same 5 fire hydrants. It's a pretty good cumulative case that there are 5 fire hydrants outside. Now, it might be true that one person walks outside and says, hey, I see 4. Well, their sense data might be wrong.
Okay, and the reason I keep interrupting you is because you're going on these long tangents about things that are completely irrelevant that I've already showed you are wrong. For example, you have to use your senses. Is it not true? You have to use your senses in order to even understand what these other people are saying about their senses.
Oh, yeah, you have to use your senses to interact with the world.
Okay, so you can use your senses to justify the reliability of your senses.
You have to use your senses in combination with other people's data and other things in the real world. Like, so for example, if I say
But the data, like you're not getting it. That data has to come through your senses in order for you to understand them. So you can't use that data.
You can.
All right, so you're okay with circular reasoning then?
No, I presuppose that I exist and that my brain processes things.
Okay, so can we presuppose things without justification?
That's what you do all the time. You're doing it in this
That's
debate
not
right now with your
super
God.
okay. That's
Your
not
religion,
That's what a presupposition is.
answering the question.
your religion is a
But this is my time. Let me, actually answer the question. Can we presuppose things without justification?
I think there are some cases, yeah.
Okay, so Jesus is the Messiah. It's my presupposition, and there's no justification for it. What problem do you have with that?
Well, my problem is that it's a claim that is unlikely to be true. And because there's data that contradicts it.
But I don't need to justify it. You just said I don't need to, right?
Just because you don't need to justify it doesn't make it true.
Okay, so then you can't say that you presuppose that you exist and that justifies your existence.
The problem, you can presuppose whatever you want, which is what Wi-Fi is getting at here, and which Justin is agreeing with. But then Wi-Fi is saying, so then you have no problem with me. He's actually doing exactly what Andrew Wilson did to me. Oh, so the First Amendment can be amended? Yeah. So that means you think it should be. No, I don't think it should be. The problem with Wi-Fi's presuppositions is they are 100% useless. They can't do anything, and there's no how do I want to say it? There's no validation of them. The naturalistic presuppositions that we have literally have worked every single time we have used them. So there's recursion in there. Now, people can quibble over whether or not that's the same thing as justifying or whatever, but you're basically just describing the problem of induction. And the problem of induction is a problem for the presuppositionalist as well.
Right.
What do we got going on here? If logic isn't absolute, then we wouldn't have any objective truth. Okay, which slit does the photon go through then, P Mars? Yeah, it was it. Yeah. I had a flashback there. He presupposes his specific God, but also has the same sense data problem to be able to read his book for revelation. Yeah, he literally appeals to church fathers later on. So it's like, oh, so it's divinely revealed through the text. You can't even read the text. The original text doesn't even exist. We don't know what it says. So you're relying on the authority of people who interpreted it thousands of years ago. It's actually pretty crazy. So I'm reasoning from the absolute of the Christian God. What absolute would you reason from that's not God? That reality exists. I would presuppose that the truth reveals itself to me.
Okay, do you think I exist?
It's not your turn to ask questions, and that's not my question. I asked you a specific question. Would you like me to repeat it?
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
If you can't just presuppose things without justification to say that they're true, then you can't presuppose your existence to say that you exist, correct?
Well, I didn't say that you should presuppose the
This is going too
Okay,
fast.
do you think I exist?
It's not your turn to ask questions, and that's not my question. I asked you a specific question. Would you like me to repeat it?
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
If you can't just presuppose things without justification to say that they're true, then you can't presuppose your existence to say that you exist, correct?
Yes, you absolutely can. What do you, if you can't presuppose
Those things without justification to say that they're true, then you can't
if you can't presuppose things without justification? Justin never made that claim.
presuppose your existence to say that you exist, correct?
Well, I didn't say that you should presuppose
Okay.
things to be that they're true.
All right. You're not getting
Your
it.
question was whether or not you can presuppose things
It's okay. We can move
without
on.
justification.
I do. I know
if you
that
can't-
you
go ahead.
want to take. Give me 1 second to. It just. Thank you. I know that you want to do a presuppositional approach tonight with Wi-Fi in terms of the epistemology of like how do we know what we know if we're going to make any claims about whether or not Jesus fulfilled the messianic prophecy. I do want to give you a chance if you could just briefly tie some of this back, just so that the arguments are.
Yeah, to spoiler alert, he never does that or even makes an attempt to do that. I don't remember what his argument was, but it was, well, let's listen to what his argument was real quick.
Clearer to the audience, because this is like the alternative approach to addressing this question rather than Justin, who
Right.
plans on taking
All
a
right.
more
I can do
standard-
something for you. Yeah, and Justin can totally do that in his cross-examination, and I will freely answer all of his questions.
I'm asking
problem
you to do
here-
it right now.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason I'm taking this approach is because, and I don't want to go on a monologue here, but I'm not sure how to do that for you.
If you could just in 30 seconds, the way that I said as an
Later on, another funny thing that Wi-Fi does later on this debate is people ask him, so ultimately you're relying on your sense data to have the communication with God. So how are you? I can't remember. So it's like, aren't you a hypocrite or something like that? Or they ask him, don't you actually use your sense data too? And he never answers it. He says, long answer, no. Short answer, yes. It's so stupid.
example.
So in my opening, I'm just pulling up my opening here. Justin, when you talk about prophecy, are you making metaphysical claims?
No, I'm just using dictionary definitions of what words actually mean, and I think that the dictionary defines the word prophecy pretty well.
Okay. Is a prophecy a supernatural thing?
It can be, doesn't have to be.
Okay. Is that not a metaphysical claim?
No.
So saying if something is or isn't supernatural is not a metaphysical claim.
I didn't say that. I
Well,
said a prophecy can be.
I don't know what goes on here, but there's no audio for this part.
Sorry, I
yeah,
misunderstood you there.
the muting goes on there for a while. Yeah, I don't understand. If you make any, I mean, it's as if Wi-Fi is saying all claims are metaphysical claims. But if you aren't a presuppositionalist Christian, then you don't have a grounding for metaphysics, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, just declarative statements of fact are empirical claims. So I don't know why. I don't understand how. What did he even ask him? It are
A
metaphysical claim.
No.
So saying if something is or isn't supernatural is not a metaphysical claim.
Yeah, that would be. Why would that be a metaphysical claim? I don't know. I don't know. I'm looking something up here to help me out. Okay, so this is telling me, would the claim that something is supernatural be a metaphysical claim? Yes. That is, something supernatural is metaphysical because it directly concerns the nature of existence and reality. All right. Let me read a little bit here. I don't know. I'll do some homework on my own time here.
I didn't say that. I
Well,
said a prophecy can be.
Oh yeah, and then this is where the silence starts.
Trying to do here is when we speak of prophecy, we're making what's called metaphysical claims. Metaphysics is the study, what we know to exist, what is true about reality. And the reason I'm so hard on philosophy is I believe that you don't need to know exactly how Jesus fulfills the prophecies in order to know that he did, because knowledge is an epistemic claim. And epistemology is just the study of how we know what is real, or like I said about metaphysics, how do we know our metaphysics? So I know I'm using a bit of jargon some people may not be familiar with, but when we say, I know Jesus is the Messiah, or I know that Jesus is not the Messiah, it's a very philosophical epistemic claim, which ties back into the metaphysics part. And that's basically my best 20 seconds to show that I'm actually very much on topic here. Jargon some people may not be familiar with. But when we say, I know Jesus is the Messiah, or I know that Jesus is not the Messiah, it's a very philosophical epistemic claim, which ties back into the metaphysics part. And that's
so Jesus could not have not fulfilled any prophecies because because if he's the Messiah or not is a metaphysical claim, and you can't have metaphysics without Christian presuppositionalism. So literally, I'm right because I'm right. You know, in the movie Big Daddy, the card game, I win. There's only one rule: no matter what happens, I win. that's really all it seems to be. Well, shit. So my plan is I'm going to be joining Justin here in about 15 minutes. So I better get out of here because I need to go find my phone charger and plug it in behind my desk. And that might actually take me 5 of those 10 minutes I have. So anyways, Okay. Well, I hate to leave the debate going on in the comments section. I hate to cut it off, but I kind of have to. So I'll see everybody. Well, I'll see everybody soon, I guess. You ran away from my argument? You never made an argument. Oh, you're probably not talking to me. All right. Well, enjoy the outro music, like I say every time. And thanks for being here.